Hola, amigos! Happy to see you back for TKO-CM's Organizational Change Management 101 Bootcamp. In our last video, we talked about why OCM is such a game changer for businesses. Today, we're looking into the change journey to understand the heart of how change happens and why it sometimes can be so difficult. I mean, can you really teach an old dog new tricks? The change journey is a core concept in change management, emphasizing that change is not just a one-time event, but a progressive journey that requires planning, support, and reinforcement at each stage. Every change journey has 3 stages: the current state, the transition state, and the future state. Let's break down each stage and explore what it means for your organization. Current state. This is where your organization is right now. Home. Home sweet home. The current state includes all the familiar processes, systems, and structures that your team relies on day to day. This is also the stage where you identify what needs to change. Maybe your current tools are outdated, or perhaps your team structure no longer supports growth. Whatever the reason, the current state is your starting point, the place where the need for change first becomes apparent. But here's the thing. Before the journey begins, people need to know why they're leaving the familiar behind. This is where leadership starts to build the case for change. If the reason isn't clear, you're going to have a hard time getting people on board. Next, we move into the transition state. This is where things get a little tricky. The transition state is that messy middle of any change journey, like the peanut butter and jelly between PB&J sandwiches. It's where people are caught between the old way of doing things and a new, just like how peanut butter gets kind of stuck in the roof of your mouth for some reason. It's also where resistance often peaks. During the transition stage, you need to focus on communication and support. Think of it as crossing a bridge. You're not quite there yet, but with the right guidance, you'll make it to the other side. Finally, we reach the future state. This is where your organization is fully embracing the new processes, technologies, or structures. The change has been adopted and a new way of working becomes the norm. But here's the catch. Just because you've reached the future state doesn't mean you're done. Hold your horses. Leaders must keep reinforcing the change to ensure it sticks. Without reinforcement, old habits can creep back in, and before you know it, you're right back where you started. Now that you understand the stages of change, let's talk about mapping the journey for both your organization and the individuals within it. Because here's the reality. Organizational change isn't just about systems and processes. It's about people. When you map the change journey for your organization, you need to think about what needs to change in the future state. How will people and processes be affected during a transition? And how do you make the new future state stick? For individuals, it's even more personal. How do you guide someone through their own journey of change? Time for a little story by NYU psychologist Jonathan Haidt, made popular by the book Switch by Chip and Dan Heath, one that perfectly captures why change can be so difficult. Let's meet the elephant, the rider, and the path. Imagine this. There's a rider sitting on top of a large elephant, trying to guide the elephant down a winding road. The rider is your logical, rational side, the part of you that plans, organizes, and makes decisions based on facts. The elephant represents your emotional side, the part of you that feels, reacts, and sometimes, just wants to stay in the comfort zone. And finally, there's the path, the environment, the circumstances, and everything that either makes the journey easier or harder. So here's where it gets interesting. There's often tension between the rider and the elephant. The rider might know exactly what needs to be done, create a new process, implement a new tool, or shift strategies, but the elephant doesn't always agree. The elephant is driven by feelings. It wants comfort, stability, and a safety of doing things the way they've always been done. And here's the kicker. The elephant is huge. If it isn't motivated or emotionally engaged, you're not going anywhere. In fact, sometimes the elephant might even run off into the opposite direction. So while the rider might think they're in control, it's the elephant's sheer size and power that can really steer the journey. Let's bring this back to organizational change. Think of your leaders as the rider, steering the company with a clear strategy and vision. But your employees are the elephants, guided by emotions, concerns, and a need for reassurance. The path is everything around them, the tools, the processes, the environment that either helps or hinders the journey. So how do you overcome this? 1. Direct the rider. The rider needs clear logical direction. Share examples of bright spots, success stories of how the proposed change can make things better. Provide a step-by-step plan. If the rider knows exactly what to do, they can guide the elephant more effectively. 2. Motivate the elephant. The elephant needs emotional engagement. This means explain not just what the change is, but why it matters. Tell stories that resonate emotionally and celebrate small victories along the way. The elephant will only move forward if it feels like the journey is worthwhile. 3. Shape the path. Finally, we just need to adjust the path. Sometimes what looks like a people problem is actually an environmental problem. Are there roadblocks in the path that make change harder? Small tweaks in the environment like better tools, clearer processes, or more practice can make all the difference in whether the change sticks. Successful change management needs to address all 3 elements: the elephant, the rider, and the path. You need leaders who provide clear direction, employees who are emotionally engaged, and an environment that supports the journey. Only then can real, lasting change take place. Now that you've learned about the change journey and the balance between the rider, the elephant, and the path, what's next? In our next video, we're diving into the emotional side of change. What happens when an elephant resists? Why do people experience denial, resistance, or even acceptance during the change? In video 2.2, we'll explore the emotional responses to change backed by psychological theories like the Kubler-Ross model and the ADKAR model. Don't miss it, and I'll see you there.